a lot of times people chase either money or success instead of chasing the thing that they really love. So I say, like, focus on the things that you love and be great at that, and then money is going to follow you.
What's going on, guys? It's Jazzy. Today I'm here with awesome comedian Mr. Andrew Schulz. Mr. Schulz, how you doing today?
I'm great, Jazzy. This is an honor. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Sure.
Let's get started. So what was it that really let you know that comedy was your calling, and how old were you when that happened?
First time I ever watched stand-up comedy was Eddie Murphy's Delirious, which is very inappropriate. You're not old enough to listen to that just yet or watch that. But I actually listened to it with my father on a cassette tape, which is an old piece of technology. You probably don't even know what that is.
I know what it is.
You did? Okay. So, and we listened to it. My dad was laughing so hard at Eddie Murphy. And I remember being a kid like, man, I want to make my dad laugh like that. That'd be really cool. And so I think that's what started it. And so it was definitely Eddie Murphy. That was the first thing. Delirious, the cassette, the audio.
I really like the way that you've been able to say, hey, I've listened to this and it made my dad laugh. So, hey, how about I start something and make my dad laugh? And look at you, you're making everyone laugh.
Hopefully.
So you're doing a great job so far.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So we're both from New York City. I wanted to know, how did the diverse... I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
What part of Brooklyn?
Bushwick.
Bushwick. Okay,
Yep.
Cool. So I went to PS6.
PS6.
Yeah.
Where's that?
When I went to you're in elementary? What are you in right now?
I'm in middle school.
Okay, so I went to Wagner Middle School. Yeah, that's on the Upper East Side.
Oh, Upper East Side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. I'm just saying I've never really heard of it, but okay.
It wasn't as bougie as it sounds. But yeah, I went to Wagner Middle School and then Baruch College Campus High School.
All right.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
So you're applying to high schools now?
Well, I'm applying to high schools in 8th grade.
In 8th grade. Okay.
So right now I'm in 7th.
Okay. So you got one more to go.
Yep.
Do you know where you want to go?
LaGuardia.
You want to go LaGuardia?
Yep.
Okay, wow. Nicki Minaj went there?
Yep. And she already said out a good word for me, so.
Did she really?
Yeah, she was just like, on her live, she was just like, everyone at LaGuardia, please help me get her in. And because she's very talented. And she just kept on speaking like that. I was just like, thank you so much, Miss Nicki Minaj. Like,
well, I hope you get into LaGuardia. There's a lot of very talented people that came from LaGuardia. You know Michael Che from SNL?
Yeah.
He also went to LaGuardia.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah. I had 2 cousins that went to LaGuardia. They have no talent, but it's okay. But listen, some of them miss, but it is what it is. There's a lot of talent that went out there. Yeah, for sure.
We're both from New York City, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, how did the diversity and the culture of the city contribute to your craft, especially including the hustle and dedication that it took for you to get to the top?
Yeah. Well, I think comedy is always the common denominator with people, So I went to a pretty diverse high school. And because of that, being funny was kind of like the unifier, and being able to like bust balls and make fun of one another. And that kind of brought us all together. And in high school, I don't know, we didn't really think about it as much in terms of that. I mean, our friend group was just kind of like naturally diverse, and we found funny things in every different culture. But I think a cool thing about it is that it developed like a curiosity for me, like each different friend of mine had this unique, really cool, interesting culture, and I got to learn a bunch of cool things about it. And so I think the most important thing was the curiosity. Like, these were my friends, and we loved each other, and we were boys, and they were all different. And what was different about them was really cool, and it was really funny. And sometimes we made fun of them for it, and sometimes we celebrated it. And but yeah, it's been a huge advantage of my life, because I feel like I could relate to so many more people.
Right.
Like, I think if you grow up in a more homogenous place where like everybody's kind of the same, it's harder for you to relate to these people. But you grow up in New York, and like we literally have everybody. Like, you meet some Chinese dude, it's like you already know the holidays, a way to connect with them. You meet a Jamaican dude, you already know the cuisine. Like, you meet an Indian dude, you already know the culture. Like, there's so many different things that we connect immediately. And that's why New York is the greatest city in the world.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that one. I feel like New York is most definitely the greatest city, and it's the most diverse city in America. I really like the way that you've been able to use all the tools and resources that you've had in New York to really become successful.
100%. I mean, yeah, I would give so much of my success to just New York, the surroundings. I think the thing about New York is like when you're in it, it feels like everybody is working at 100%.
Right.
And I don't know if you've ever been to other places like California.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so it's like California, everybody's relaxing and having a great time. And when you go there, you're like, oh, that seems awesome. Relaxing, have a great time. But it doesn't inspire me to work. But when I go and I leave my apartment in New York, I see everybody moving to make their dreams come true. And that makes me grind. It makes me work a little bit harder. So it's easier for me to hustle really hard in New York.
One thing about the city is that it really you really have to grind hard in order to become successful. And that's exactly what you were saying. And when you're in the city, especially like my head, you always see like the businessmen and the businesswomen. They're always going back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
And when I see that, I'm just like, wow, they really are like working hard in their jobs just to go get that promotion, go chase their dreams that they want to accomplish.
Yeah. What are your dreams? What do you want to accomplish?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the future, right now we're trying to have my own show. I really want to have my own show, like a talk show.
Look at this. Everybody's talking about it. You have these huge, successful interviews. So you're already doing that.
Thanks. Like I want to have my own like talk show kind of thing, like on TV or on like big streaming platforms, just kind of like that.
That's awesome. Why can't you do that? I feel like you could do that easily. Because think about it. You're already on the biggest streaming platform in the world, right? Do you post this on YouTube?
Yes, I do.
That's the biggest streaming platform in the world. Way bigger than Netflix, way bigger than Amazon, way bigger than HBO. You're already on the biggest streaming platform in the whole world. And you've had these clips. Like I saw that clip with Nicki. That was awesome. That went super viral.
Yeah.
So you're already going viral amongst all the competition. You have like probably hundreds of millions of people posting videos. And within all those hundreds of millions of people, you succeeded, right? Like you came to the top. So to me, that's already immense success. So I guess you're just building it from here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're living within the dream. You're existing within the dream. And you know what's important is like ambition is great because it puts your focus on what's not happening now. It's what's in front of you. But it's also important to look at like how far you've gone.
Right.
Like think about the first interview you did, and think about you interviewed Nicki Minaj.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you grew up in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? You're interviewing Nicki. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
You want to go to LaGuardia and you're interviewing like maybe the most successful person that ever graduated from LaGuardia. Like you got to give yourself a little credit, and every once in a while, once a month at least, pat yourself on the back. Be like, whoa, I did some cool shit.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, what is one major distorted perception that many upcoming comics have about what it takes to be a successful comedian? Because I'm sure that the come up is not easy at all.
No, it's not easy at all. That's a really great question. I think a lot of comics think they just need to post a clip on the internet, and if it goes viral, then automatically they're successful. And I think that the most important thing, and I'm sure that you've realized this in your business too, is consistency. So it's not one interview, it's having 10 interviews and a new one every single week, and then continuing. And so that when that one interview does pop, all those people can watch the 100 other interviews that you did, So I think that's the thing that a lot of comics are confused by. And also just developing the skill and the talent so that when you get the opportunity, you're ready for it.
Right.
You don't want to pop too early and then you don't really have the skill to back it up, So like for me, I've toiled away in obscurity for years before I ever had an opportunity. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me because when the opportunity came, I was ready,
Right.
I was able to do a podcast with a very talented gentleman named Charlemagne the God. Do you know who Charlemagne is?
Yes, I do.
So Charlemagne and I do a podcast together. We've been doing this together for like 10 years. And to me, I think he's the greatest radio personality in history. So I was so lucky to be with somebody who I really admired and learn a lot from him about not only content, but just entertainment and just being funny in general. So I got really lucky.
Yeah, you did. And I really have to say that being a comedian, it's not easy at all. And I can tell because being able to come up with jokes and also be able to be very consistent, as you said, and being able to talk to a crowd, that's not easy at all. Yeah. And I know that you guys work very hard on doing that. And I feel like you do a great job at what you do.
Well, you shouldn't be watching my jokes. You're too young to watch my jokes. You got, how old are you again?
13.
Okay, you need another at least, what do we think? 5, 10 years.
Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear stuff all the time.
She's seen it all. She's seen it all already. No, yeah, you gotta wait a few more years and then you can see it. But yeah, I agree. It's something that's tricky. If you do it right, it's tricky. but it's so much fun. And
Right.
I think it's one of those things where it's like that's kind of the way that I've communicated with the world. So I'm fortunate enough to have a profession that matches with the way that I communicate with the world. You know, when I was
Right.
talking to you earlier about just what it was like having this, friend group, it was unified with comedy. And I was able to find a job where I could be funny and get paid.
Right.
Like that's crazy. Like how lucky. So
Yeah, props to you guys because you guys make jokes and you really speak to a big crowd and you're able to keep up with that crowd and be able to make that crowd really engaged in what you're saying.
yeah.
Just props to you guys. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
No
Jazzy. I
problem.
appreciate that.
So you have a role in the new movie White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what is different in this movie that's different from the original, and are there any more movies that you will be starring in the future?
Okay. Well, I haven't seen the whole movie. I was supposed to go to the premiere the other day, and instead, my wife and I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is not a good idea, but it was a great movie. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy. I really recommend that movie. Now, I also recommend White Man Can't Jump, but my wife, I think she was feeling a little. It was like a rough day, and I just wanted us to go see something anyway. But yeah, White Man Can't Jump. It was cool to do. When I grew up, that was in like iconic movie. So a friend of mine named Alexis Perez lived pretty much behind the school that you want to go to, LaGuardia, and I saw White Man Can't Jump at his apartment, and it was like transformative for me. I thought it was the coolest movie ever. I was like, this is awesome. And when this new movie was coming up, I hit up Kenya Barris, who is the guy who's one of the executive producers of the movie and writers of it. And I was like, hey, man, is there any role in this movie for me? Because it would be so cool to be a part of since I was such an iconic movie. And he was cool enough to let me do it. So it was really fun. And yeah, it was just really cool to be part of it. Acting's kind of boring, to be honest with you, compared to stand up. It really is. But to be part of a movie like that was so cool because it was an important part of my childhood.
Right, that's great to know. And also, I'm a big fan of Mr. Jack Harlow, so
Oh, yeah.
I most
Jack
definitely
Man.
will be able to check out that movie today. And yeah, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, Jack is great. Jack is great.
Yeah, I actually interviewed him. So
Really?
yeah, he's a really cool guy.
Nice guy, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
So you have made an investment to buy the rights of your comedy special for $1 million, and actually made 3 times that amount off an investment on YouTube.
That's true. That's true.
Right. So I wanted to know, how did you
That's good
calculate?
investigative research. The numbers might be a little off, but we're gonna roll with it. Yeah.
All right, let's roll with it. How did you calculate that purchase, and what advice can you give to people in regards to self-investment?
You are your greatest product. So investing in yourself is the thing that will be most lucrative, I think. I mean, I don't really know anything about real estate. I don't really know anything about stocks. I don't know about treasury bonds. I don't know those things. I haven't dedicated my life to those things, but I dedicated my life to stand-up comedy. So I felt comfortable investing money in that because I knew that I could get some sort of return from that. I knew I could make my money back. I was like, I dedicated my whole life to this, So yeah, I always say put the money in the things that you know. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they're like really smart, money manager guys. I'm sure you're going to deal with, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to take your money, we're going to put it in Google, and we're going to give it to this hedge fund and all these other stuff. And that's great, And I talk to those guys, and they tell me those things too. That being said, every time I can invest in myself or in my guys, I try to do that because we know about this game. And I'm sure you'll do it with your cameras, microphones, and everything. Like investing in yourself is always going to be a thing that provides the greatest outcome, in my opinion.
Thank you for that. And one thing that I've learned from all the people that I've spoken to, well, you need to have confidence and you need to have self-belief. And obviously, when it comes to spending money, you need to, make smart calculations. But at the end of the day, you should be confident in what you're investing in. So
100%. I remember I went to my friend. He's a public school teacher in Brooklyn, and I was talking to his class, and I was just asking the kids. I was like, I don't know why they would ask me to talk to kids, but it's fine. I'll do it. And I was just asking kids like what they want to be, and this one girl wanted to open up a bakery. She was really embarrassed to share it, and And I was like, well, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I like baker. I like baking. It'd be cool to open up a bakery. And I asked how many other kids in the class want to open up a bakery, and nobody said they wanted to. And I was like, if you don't open a bakery, nobody's gonna get croissants. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
nobody's gonna get a Danish. Nobody's gonna get a cinnamon roll. Like we need you. It's not like there's competition. It's if you don't do it, we don't get it.
Right.
Like we need you to do it. And I think a lot of young people are really scared that they're going to be competing with so many different forces if they go for their dreams. But the reality is that so many people are afraid of tracing their dreams that if you actually do it, you might be the only one.
Right.
So I think it's awesome that you're chasing your dreams. I hope you continue to do it.
Thank you so much for that. You know, confidence and self-belief, that's key. Can you please share some words of motivation to everyone watching my show?
Oh, wow. I think I did it just before better, but yeah, just I think what you're doing is fantastic. You have something that you really enjoy, and you're doing it. I think that's where it starts. I think a lot of times people chase either money or success instead of chasing the thing that they really love. And the thing that you really love, you're willing to work 80 hours a week, 120 hours a week. It doesn't really matter because you love it so much. It doesn't feel like work. If you don't like something, it's going to feel like work every single minute. So I say like focus on the things that you love and be great at that. And then money is going to follow you. Like I never thought about money once in my life until I had to buy back that special. Then I thought about money a lot, but before before that, I don't really think about it first. I've been very lucky, but like the first thing I think is how can we be really good, and how can we do something different, and how can we do something that we all really love so that we can work hard at it, and then money comes chasing you when you do that.
Well, thank you so much for those wise words. Well, guys, I'm here, Mr. Schulz, and we're having a great time. Until next time, jazzing out.